Hey, welcome to the Real Estate Club. No dress code, just really good real estate info. I'm setting the tone for casual, smart conversations that make real estate feel a little bit easier and way more accessible. This is a laid-back podcast where residential real estate gets real. Hosted by me, Dany K. This podcast is your go-to guide for buying, selling, and everything in between, but without all that stuffy jargon, pressure, or stiff suits. Each week, I'll break down the market, share insider tips, and swap stories with colleagues from the field to help you make smart moves in today's housing world. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, a seller, curious investor, or just love a good open house, you are officially invited to join the club. Pull up a chair, pour your coffee or wine, we don't judge here, and let's talk real estate. Welcome back to the Real Estate Club with Dany K, where we talk about the people, businesses, and organizations that make South County one of the best places to live, work, and call home. I'm your host, Dany K with Real Broker, and today I have a super special guest. If you've ever experienced the aroma of garlic filling the air, which if you live in Gilroy, you probably smell it all the time. And if you've ever watched chefs ignite giant flames in Gourmet Alley or bitten into a piece of world-famous garlic bread, then you already know about today's topic. I'm excited to welcome the board president of the Gilroy Garlic Festival, Alex Misa. Hey, Alex.
Hey, Dany, how are you?
For joining me today.
Thank you very much for the invite. I truly appreciate it.
Of course. Tell me a little bit about yourself. What brought you to Gilroy? Who is Alex?
That's a long story. We don't have enough time, but I'll give you a Reader's Digest version. So moved here in 99 with my past wife then and our child, Savannah, and been here for off and on about 24, 25 years. I'm an agribusiness insurance adjuster by day. So I travel pretty much everywhere from the North Bay to San Luis Obispo.
Wow.
I was born and raised in Chicago. So, I'm not only San Francisco bred sports, but Chicago sports still, my heart's still there. So
Nice.
But yeah, then my family moved out here in 79 to Milpitas. They're still there at the same home that we've been in since 79. And then I grew up pretty much there, graduated in Milpitas High, 87, excuse me. And then,
You're aging yourself.
Well, look, graduated 87 and kind of hopped around the Bay Area until I found my home in Gilroy.
Okay.
Yeah.
What made you decide to volunteer in this little town of Gilroy?
It was actually my daughter's alma mater, elementary school, El Roble. And it's right.
My son went to El Roble also.
Go Mighty Oaks.
Go Mighty Oaks, for sure.
Scott Otteson at the time was our beloved principal, and he was very interested in his office staff was actually interested always. They'd do the corn cob booth yearly, and so as parents, we went out there and we'd sell. So that kind of gave me the taste of the festival. It was interesting to see because I never seen a festival of that magnitude.
Yeah.
Or of that type of organization. So it was pretty cool. I've seen days from 103-degree temperatures on a Friday where nobody was there.
Sure.
To rain.
Yeah.
On a summer weekend where nobody was there, to breaking the world's record of 106,000 people on a given weekend for a festival of that type. So I've seen that through the recent years. And then slowly and surely, I kind of integrated myself into the Gourmet Alley. I'm a 4th degree Knight for the Knights of Columbus here at our local church in St. Mary's. And and so we were tasked to help in Gourmet Alley as just pool volunteers. Yeah. And that really got me the taste of what it's like in that kind of organization. And then from there, I have to really give credit, and I get, kind of teary-eyed about it. I really have to give credit to Sam Bozo and Gene and a couple of other key people that really became my mentors in terms of really getting involved in the festival.
Yeah.
No, Gene Sakahara as part of the Sakabozo thing until later on. And all I said was, hey, Sam, if you ever need any help with the festival or, ever need help with this, And quite frankly, as a young kid in the 20s, I'm just thinking that's free tickets.
Right, right.
So,
Everybody
but
wants a free ticket to the festival.
everybody wants a free ticket.
Little did you
Exactly.
know that when you said, "If you ever need any help," and now here
Right.
you are. Did
Well,
you
it's
ever
ironic.
president?
That's what I'm saying. It's ironic because Sam, out of all people, said in, I think literally, Danny, in 2016, he goes, we were at some kind of function and he puts his hand around my shoulder and he goes, one day in 10 years, this guy's going to be president. And I went,
Oh, wow.
literally, no joke. And I went, okay, Sam, whatever. And 10 years later, here I
And
am. And
look
I,
at
and
you
I,
now.
I know. And so last November when I took the chair, I saw him shortly after that, and I gave him a hug. I go, Sam, you predicted 10 years, and here I am. And he goes, I
Yeah,
told you so.
that's awesome.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
does the
So
role mean to you personally?
uh, it it means a lot. When you invited me to this podcast, I just really started reflecting back on a lot of things, and one of them was service. I discovered in my life, Danny, quite frankly, I live the life of service, whether I
Yeah.
like it or not. I like helping people. I like creating things. I'm more of a delegator than a doer, but I did a lot over the years. And just seeing something that we created from literally nothing, in this case, a empty field or an empty piece of land, to something that people can attend with
Mhm.
booths and vendors and food, and it's really cool to see something that you can see from 0 to 100.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. So that's kind of what inspired me to do this was, the biggest way I can service the community and fulfill that thing in me is to help at the garlic festival. It's something that, when you see a kid, you know eating garlic ice cream for the first time,
Yeah.
or dancing, to the music at the main stage, it's pretty cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
For someone who's never attended the festival, how would you describe the festival?
The festival, first and foremost will always be about our commodity, garlic.
Yeah.
As I said, I'm a commercial ag insurance adjuster by day. And so we insure all the growers, farmers, and all that. And coincidentally, we insure Christopher Ranch. And
Oh.
so, yeah. So, whenever they have a claim, we have to service it. So first and foremost, it's always going to be the garlic. It's always going to be our commodity.
Mhm.
Secondly, it's the it's having, I've always someone referred it to it last, I don't know, a few years ago, that it's the city's biggest party of the year.
Yeah.
And people like you and I, volunteers, we do all the work for almost an entire year.
Yeah.
And those 3 days are the ones that us as volunteers can sit back and go, this is what we created for you, the public, the world.
Yeah.
Over the years, I've seen people from Ireland, Germany, Japan, Asia, Europe, and they all know that Gilroy is synonymous with not only garlic, but, having this type of festival that we can put on.
Exactly. It's like a giant reunion
Yeah.
for everybody from our town. It's
Yep.
so fun to see everybody.
Yep. You hit
Love
it
it.
right on the spot. That's exactly what it is. That's another reason why it's so special. Again, people like you and me who've worked it over the years, I know I can finally say that I'm pretty vetted into the community in terms of association and,
Yeah.
board of directors now. We see these volunteers, you know, every year. And, and on a side note, that's where I met my fiance. So it's a festival love story.
Yes, we'll get
And
to volunteers and we'll talk about Jess in just a little
geez,
bit.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So that's what makes it special. And that's for people that don't know what it is. It's all about the garlic. At the end of the day,
okay.
it's all about the garlic.
You mentioned that it takes about a year to plan an
Yeah.
event like this. When do preparations actually begin? Is there a first meeting that takes place for the year? When does that all happen?
So Every November is the change of the guard. So presidents, it's a yearly term, so
Uh-huh.
1 year term. So we get voted in on these type of paths. Uh, so in just to dig into the weeds, and my path was I was voted to become president elect. I'm sorry, vice president elect, then vice president, then president, then a year on the board as a advisory role past president, and then you go out to the pasture with all the ex-presidents.
Oh,
We
no,
just
somebody will find you and pull you into
no,
their
I
committee.
was gonna say we kind of roam around the fields, and then someone would just grab you and go, "Hey, we need you." Uh,
Exactly.
so,
You know what you're
but
doing. Come over
yeah,
here.
so it starts in November. So it's November, or October 31st. And it truly is, Danny, a year process. There's no
Yeah,
rest. When you have to plan a festival of this magnitude, there is no rest. We still meet, through the holidays, November, December. The new president has their new agenda that they want to instill for the year in January when they have retreats. And
yeah,
then from there, it's boom, boom, boom. And we have certain deadlines like any corporation, like any organization. And it's, again, truly a year long process. Absolutely. Every year, there's never any rest, so to speak.
yeah. I know the festival grew pretty big before,
Yeah.
2019, and we're not gonna talk about that. But we've been back, right? We've had a
Yeah.
festival now for the last couple of years, and
Absolutely.
how many volunteers does it take to pull this off? I know we're on a little bit of a smaller scale, but it still feels like a giant undertaking, and so many people are involved. How many volunteers would you say pull this off?
So I can say, just as a comparison and nothing more,
Yeah.
back in our heyday, we had over 4,000 volunteers
Wow.
in 3 days. And Gourmet Alley, where I essentially grew up in,
Yeah.
managed a little over half of those. So we were the biggest draw of volunteers. Fast forwarded to last year when our past president, Paul Nadu, took over and created this for us last year as a soft opening, as I always call it.
Yeah.
We had about 900 volunteers. So it's still a huge undertaking.
Yeah.
Despite the scale down size, it takes the same planning. It takes just as much people on a smaller scale. But yeah, and this year we'll talk about it later, as you know. This year we increased our attendance, so we're gonna have more. I know, so we're
So
gonna have
exciting.
more. I know, me too. It's been a long struggle, but we'll obviously have more volunteers. So we'll probably exceed maybe 1,000 volunteers.
Yeah. I remember last year, I work in the sponsor hospitality for everyone who's listening and watching. I work in VIP sponsor hospitality where our sponsors get to come and hang out and have a cocktail and some yummy garlic festival food. But I was taking my wagon going back and forth
I
between
remember that. I was
hospitality
there.
and gourmet alley. And to watch the volunteers in Gourmet Alley, and how quickly they move and all of the things that are happening all at once and
Hmm.
the direction being given and the washing of the dishes, like, it is a well-oiled machine, and it's pretty
Yeah,
incredible to watch it all go down.
yeah,
Most people just see the finished product of the
yeah,
festival. They get to come and hang out, but they probably have no idea what actually happens behind the scenes, right?
yeah.
So, walk us through festival week. What does your day look like leading up to these 3 crazy days?
Festival week is, as I call it, being this year because we've had it in many years past, and then it kind of got lost in the sea somewhere. But we start the Monday before that week of, or the Monday
Mhm.
before, and it's set up and then tear down, another 3, 4 days. My goal as president this year was to bring back one of my agenda items was to bring back a setup crew and a teardown crew. We ran into some difficulties last year in doing so. And I saw how, just to get into the weeds, our utilities committee, who runs power, gas, all
Yeah,
this behind
they
the
have
scenes,
such a big job.
huge job. And I've been there and I've seen it and I worked it. I see them struggle last year. So this year, one of my things, my edicts was to get a setup crew and a teardown crew. So we start usually on Monday, Tuesday. The tent people come in from the East Bay, Central Valley, and they come down. They'll set up our tents, and then once that's set up, we literally just fill in the gaps. We'll fill in our products, our machines, our fryers, beverage people, uh, your committee, as we call it. For those that don't know, we are separated by committees. And that's how we become a well-oiled machine, is committees. I simply just delegate to say, this is what we need. And we have committees like you that go, okay, let's get it done.
Yeah.
So that happens the week before. And then after that, it's tear down, come Monday morning. We'll pretty much reverse everything we did the week before and pretty much rack, pack, and stack things. Being that I was in Gourmet Alley forever, one of the things I implemented last year as VP, or asked, I should say, I'm not going to take credit for it, but was to, was to wrap everything, throw it on your pallet,
Oh,
label it so
I
we can
I
just pick it up and go.
that is an amazing thing that has been implemented, and I'm
Thank you.
really excited that our pallet is just gonna be delivered to our
Yeah.
area. We can unwrap it, and all of our
Yeah.
stuff is right there. I think
Yeah.
that's such a great idea.
Yeah. Thank you. And again, I won't take full credit. I just kind of reminded people, hey, let's go back doing this,
Yeah,
because I found that it was just so convoluted. And those are the things behind the scenes that people don't see, is the amount of just physical work
yeah,
that goes into it. And we're happy doing it.
of
No,
course.
yeah, but
Long
it's work.
days, but they're very
Work.
fulfilling for
Yep, and
sure.
it's work nonetheless. So those
Yeah,
are the things that I kind of like to streamline. But those are the behind the scene things that take place, to where once you walk in as a guest, boom, everything's there.
yeah,
From garlic bulb, the flaming bulb, to hopefully Herbie, our
yeah.
mascot this
We
year.
love Herbie.
We're trying to get
Everyone loves.
Herbie
I have only been involved since I think 2022 when we started doing, like, the downtown.
live.
Yeah, downtown live and just serving garlic festival food at the rodeo when we couldn't have a festival.
Yeah,
But one of my favorite traditions leading up to the actual festival is the week of, how the association wears the different shirts that they've had over the years. Every year, the president picks a color. And so the week of
right.
the festival, everyone's wearing their specific year shirt on a specific day. And I just think that's such a cool tradition. I
Yeah,
love that.
we start on, let's say, for example, Monday the week before. We'll count back those years. So if it's,
Yeah.
5 days, we'll go 2020 shirt, Tuesday 21 shirt, Wednesday 22, and so on and so forth, until
Yeah.
the day of Friday. We'll have our 26 shirts on, which are right here, red, white, and blue. Boom,
Go
boom,
America.
boom.
I
That's
love it.
right. Absolutely. To me, and also behind the scenes, as one of the perks of a president, we get to pick our colors.
Yeah.
And to me, I thought it was, not only fitting, but pretty easy to discover what kind of colors I needed. And I was like, this is it, might as well.
Yeah.
Coincides to, our 250th anniversary. So
I love it.
yeah,
One thing I don't think enough people realize is that the Garlic Festival isn't just a food festival. It's not
right.
just about the amazing food. It's about giving back to our
Absolutely.
community. Can you talk about the charities that are supported by the festival?
Yeah. So, that's our core mission. That's our mission statement, is to give back to our community.
Yeah.
I wish I could tell you verbatim, but that's our core mission, is to give back.
Yeah.
We've raised, the association as a whole, we've raised nearly $13 million since 1979. Yep. And we will make
That's
more this
amazing.
year. Yeah. And so we give back to those nonprofits. And the nonprofits we give back to are those that volunteer for us.
Yeah.
Anywhere from, tennis club, swimming club, wrestling, Boy Scouts, anybody that had applied as volunteers for hours, which turned into dollars. And last year we gave about $74,000 back
That is incredible.
to scholarships. We gave a lot through the Rudy Malone, through Dick Nichols, a lot of those. So that's our core mission statement, to give back. We are a nonprofit organization. So whatever we make, we turn around and give back to those organizations that volunteered for us, and more to do
Yeah.
that.
I don't think that that is something that everybody in our community realizes. And I'll be honest, I grew up here. right? I went to the festival every summer as a teenager. I danced to Shaboom. I hung out under the big oak tree at Christmas Hill Park. I had a
Mhm.
blast, but had 0 idea of how much money was being given back.
Yeah.
You know, people attend the festival and they just assume the Garlic Festival is making millions and why can't they have more people and they just don't understand everything that's made is
The
being given.
mechanisms behind it, the mechanics behind it. Yeah.
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 Yeah, I think it
And,
really makes the festival special.
and as a side note, as president, at least for me personally, giving away those scholarships to those students a couple months ago or last month is just really rewarding to me. More so because I gave scholarships to kids that I've literally seen grown up,
Yeah.
to where they were, just can't see, but,
Yeah.
literally little kids and, on the verge of graduating and applying for scholarships. And as president, I'm the one that gives those scholarships to those kids that I grew up or seen growing up. And it's just amazing. It's an amazing feeling to work hard for those 3 days to generate those monies to give away to those scholarships and nonprofits. Absolutely.
So
And
meaningful.
yeah, and we give seasonal jobs, those a week before, a week after, kids volunteer,
Yeah.
the 3 days. So we give and contribute a lot to not only the city of Gilroy, but to the kids of Gilroy because a
Yeah.
majority of them, quite frankly, are mostly kids.
Yeah. I don't know if you remember this, but you mentioned, you've seen kids grow up in this community and it's so cool to give them scholarships, but you actually were one of the coaches of my son's little league baseball team. The 1 year he played. It wasn't his thing, it wasn't for him, but the
I
1 year he
remember.
played, you and Tony Fernandez were his coaches.
I remember.
Yeah,
I remember. I
yeah.
remember you seeing at the seeing you at the stands.
Being the board president for the festival must come with some challenges. What has been your biggest leadership lesson in the last year?
Patience. A lot of patience, a lot of strategic planning
Yeah,
where I am fiercely protective of not only this association, but the festival in general and
yeah.
our board of directors. I have, in my opinion, and it's biased, uh, I have probably the best board that I've seen come across because I utilize each and every one of their skills. And because of that, I've learned patience and perseverance. One of the mottos I've said recently to our board is always work with what we got, but fight for what we want,
Oh, I love that.
because we have what we have and we can work with it.
Yeah.
But if we want more, let's fight for it,
It
and
reminds me of the Beastie Boys. You gotta fight for your right to
fight for
party.
your right to party, man. And that's what we're doing. We had to fight for the right to get 4,000 people in.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
and that was the biggest things was, negotiating with our wonderful partners at Gilroy Gardens, allowing us to have, 4,000 people. We had pushed for five, negotiated for four. So for us, it's a win.
Yeah,
But it was a lot of perseverance and a lot of patience to do that. So
yeah,
as president, I've learned that. And on a personal note, organization. I'm one of those, where, my brain tells me at 2 in the morning, hey, by the way, think about this. And all of a sudden I'm like, pop, so my mind's always running. So I've learned, I got to be organized as president because, I'm essentially in charge of, I don't know how 40 plus people in
yeah,
association,
totally.
plus now the probably 1,000 volunteers, that eventually if questions are answered will come to me. So
Exactly. And you're
yeah,
so responsive. I know I've said it,
thank
but
you.
you're so responsive and it's
Thank
so
you.
appreciated.
Thank you.
Yes. Garlic Festival has such an incredible legacy. We've come so far. Where do you see it headed over the next 5 years?
Uh, so literally just getting bigger, but in baby steps. I don't believe in major jumps of growth. That's just me as president this year. There may be other future presidents will think otherwise. Uh, but I believe organizations as big as this deserve baby steps. So that way there are no errors. That way there are no, instances of biting off more than we can chew.
Yeah.
So I see ourselves, Dany, probably, increasing our attendance every year until we reach our capacity at the gardens. And then, a few years down the line, we either negotiate with them to expand that footprint that they allowed us to have, uh, or other venues that can house what hopefully will eventually become more than we have today.
I love that.
So it's just growth. It's just growth. And
Yeah.
it's, I believe in slow growth. I don't believe in, again, great, we had a successful 4,000 a day people. Let's go to 10,000 next year.
Yeah, no,
No,
let's not go too big too fast.
exactly. So
Yeah.
I see that slow growth, but it's calculated growth.
Yeah. I love that. Okay, we're gonna do a little bit of rapid fire. So I want your
Okay.
first thing that comes to mind.
You got it.
Favorite Gilroy smell?
Garlic, man.
Of course.
Garlic.
What is your favorite festival memory?
My
Oh,
goodness. Okay,
meeting
rapid
Jessica.
fire.
Meeting
Rapid
Jessica. Meeting Jessica is the
yes.
right answer.
Rapid fire. Yes, meeting my fiance. Yes, absolutely. She is our sauce boss. Nothing
She's
goes
the
through
best.
nothing
Yeah.
goes through those windows without her sauces, minus, pepper steak and, whatever fry
Yeah.
stuff. But meeting her, of course. But I would say and it's kind of funny, but rapid fire. 2021, we had a drive through at the Gilroy Presbyterian Church.
Yes, we did.
I, amongst others, had designed that kitchen to make it under one roof, to make people feel comfortable. And so we had a drive through. I think for me, that was one of the recent best memories of seeing everybody under one roof, saying hi to each other, being able to talk to each other, not running across fields with each other. That was truly awesome. And then, of course, seeing my lovely fiance there, but yeah. And the other memory was, that I mentioned to you this morning or earlier this morning, was sitting in a booth watching nobody walk across at 103-degree temperature on a Friday and raining, say, the next year or two. And we're like, it's July and it's raining. Like,
I
what?
know. What is this
Yeah.
weather? Okay.
So
Favorite volunteer?
favorite volunteer is somebody, Danielle something, and a Jessica Red.
There's too
You know,
many to pick a
there's
favorite.
too
That's an
many to
unfair
pick.
question.
Yes, I have. This is my extended family. I love
Yeah.
each and every one of you guys. I grew up, like I said, 10 plus years, doing this. And it's a drop in the bucket for people that's been, there since 79, 80 as either
Sure.
attendees or volunteers. But for me personally, growing up for the last over decade was, all these people that I consider family, my work family. And really quickly, this is how I describe our relationship with Jessica. I seen her once a year for 3 days, and that's it. And it was always Alex with the good hugs. And it
Yeah.
was always, Alex, come taste, my sauces, and that was it. So it
Yeah.
was 2 seconds of tastes good. All right, let's keep going. And that was it. So
And look at you guys now.
I know. She makes me a better person, a better man every day.
Oh, I love that.
Yes.
Okay, garlic bread or pepper steak?
Jesus. Pepper
Another
steak.
unfair question.
Pepper steak.
Totally.
Yeah.
Shrimp scampi or garlic pasta? Or
Oh,
pesto. I should say pesto.
I'm part Italian, so pesto pasta.
I love it.
Yeah.
Is there a most underrated food at the festival or something people must try?
I would say the calamari.
Okay.
Yeah. And again, not to harp on it, but it's the sauce that makes it special.
Yeah.
So it's nice. Yeah.
Everything is
That's
delicious.
underrated, I think.
Yeah. Before we wrap up, I'd like us to share a few details. Where can people buy tickets?
So we are currently pretty much sold out on Saturday as of this morning. Yep. So we're pushing
Must
through.
have been the post I did yesterday. I'm just kidding.
Please, absolutely. I saw this morning. And we are available Friday and Sunday still. But you
Okay.
go online, GilroyGarlicFestival.com, and you can also buy combo plates there. You can buy parking tickets there. You can do everything online. And this year we're going to have a transactional system of wristbands. So no need for customers to bring in, cash, credit card, other than to the machines that we'll have kiosks at the beginning of the gates there, and all we do is tap.
Oh,
So
that's awesome.
yeah. So those are one of the few things that my liaisons have been working on diligently and successfully, I would think. So yeah, so GilroyGarlicFestival.com, get on the tickets, get some. Saturday, like I said, we're pretty much sold out. And we'll shoot for Friday opening, sold out, and then Sunday we'll shoot for a sellout to close out the year. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah, of
One last question before I let
course.
you go.
Yes.
When people leave the Garlic Festival this year, what's the one feeling you hope they take home with them?
Memories. Great memories. He had a awesome flaming bulb last year, and to see dozens of photos of people all over the world take photos in front of that to remind them that this is the Garlic Festival, I'd
Yeah.
like to do that again this year as well. So those memories and the new things that we're having on, quickly, we're doubling our arts and crafts vendors from last year. We're adding a children's area this year. So those memories of those kids coming in, we have what I call a kids alley that will serve alternative foods for kids versus the gourmet alley. So it's those
Such
new
a good
memories
idea.
with those new things that we're implementing. Just memories,
Awesome.
good memories.
Alex, thank you so much for joining me
Thank
today
you.
and for everything you and the Garlic Festival Association does for the Gilroy community.
I
The
appreciate that.
Garlic Festival is so much more than an event, it's a
Yeah.
tradition, it's a
Absolutely.
celebration of community, and it's an incredible example of what people can accomplish when they come together for a greater purpose.
Yes.
If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to like, subscribe, and share this podcast with your friends and family. I'm Dany K with Real Broker, and this has been the Real Estate Club. Until next time. Bye,
Until next
friends.
time. Thank you.